A lot of times when controversial decisions come down, I really am very accepting in terms of the fact that I realize that judging boxing isn't an easy thing to do, especially when you're in the arena right there, when you're watching the fighters, when their fighters are at weird angles and you're only sitting in one position where you can only see certain things going on. And I can see a lot of close rounds going either way in a lot of circumstances. But what I saw from James DeGale versus Rogelio Medina for the IBF super middleweight title was was a beatdown, and the scorecards reflected a pure fucking travesty and a miscarriage of justice. Um, James DeGale was in there trying to be flashy, trying to be a stylist, basically like trying to be like a Prince Nassim Hamed type fighter, or a little bit of a Floyd Mayweather type fighter, trying to show out maybe because Floyd was in the crowd. But in being flashy, he was throwing a bunch of arm punches that Medina blocked for the most part. Medina was blocking those punches by and large with his gloves. Not only that, but a lot of those flurries that DeGale threw were coming after 2 minutes or 2 minutes and 30 seconds of getting completely dominated, and then he tries to steal the round in the last 45 or 50 seconds with a flashy flurry that doesn't even land cleanly. For the most part, there was a couple of shots that landed pretty clean on Medina. Knocked some sweat here and there, but Medina hammered James DeGale to the body and hammered him to the face. All you gotta do is look at their faces after the fight to see who did more damage. And that only tells not even half of the story, but that only tells about a quarter of the story as far as Rogelio Medina goes. Because Medina did his best work to the body. And you could see that because by the time the fifth round started, James DeGale was sucking wind. James DeGale was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, not throwing any punches, not catching and countering, not hitting and not getting hit. He was getting hit all right. Boxing is a sweet science of hit and don't get hit. Well, guess what? James DeGale was getting fucking hit. And James DeGale wasn't even fucking throwing for one. So he damn sure wasn't hitting Medina for most of those rounds in the first 2 minutes of those rounds. Medina hammered this guy to the body and completely took the wind out of his sails by the end of the fourth round. Not only that, but he punished James DeGale with a jab, with a simple jab. The thing that probably defines boxing more than any other punch, the jab. Medina beat DeGale to the jab repeatedly, all night with the jab. Beat him down with the jab, landed a number of hooks on Medina, landed a number of hooks on DeGale rather, knocked DeGale into the ropes repeatedly, and teed off on DeGale in the ropes. DeGale fought back valiantly. I'm not trying to completely downplay what DeGale did in there. He fought back like a champion should be, but overall he was overwhelmed. And you could see just by the looks on their faces, Medina's face was clean. So all these supposed clean shots that DeGale was landing weren't actually landed on him. And I really dislike the fact that a lot of people are going to say or have already said that James DeGale was playing around in there, or that he was trying to be flashy, or this and that, that he was playing games that... No. What James DeGale was doing was trying to con everybody into believing that he was not hurt to the body. Medina hurt DeGale repeatedly to the body. You could see DeGale buckle over to the body after Medina landed to him. You could see DeGale immediately stop throwing punches and get on his bike and try to get away from Medina in order to survive the follow-up from what Medina hurt him to the body and then was going to follow up to his head. So, all that shit about, DeGale was playing around, no. DeGale was saving his ass, is what DeGale was doing. And, save his ass he did. He definitely saved his belt because of how horrendous the judges' scoring was. Apparently, one of the judges' scores was actually read incorrectly. They announced it as 117 to 111 on two of the cards and 115 to 113, all for DeGale. But apparently one of those 117, 111s was actually 116, 112. Really doesn't make it very much better. Personally, I had it 116 to 112 for Medina. And actually, I felt like I was being somewhat generous to DeGale. Because DeGale got outboxed, he got outmuscled, he got overpowered, he got outworked, he got outlanded, he got beat up. James DeGale got beat up in that fight. And no amount of sticking your tongue out wins you points on the scorecards. You can stick your tongue out all day. Medina damn near fucking made him bite his tongue off because DeGale's dumbass was sticking his tongue out, and Medina hit him while he was doing it. He managed to get his tongue back in, back behind his gum shield, before Medina landed the shot. Luckily, but that was just horrendous, horrendous stuff. And I, like most people, figured DeGale would outclass Medina. I thought Medina was a more live dog than people were giving him credit for, because people don't realize that those fights that they lost to the likes of Uzcategui and Badou Jack himself, Porky Medina wasn't able to have like full training camps. He has a day. He's one of these guys with a day job and all kinds of shit. Only recently has he actually been able to really dedicate himself full time to boxing, and you could see the fruits of that labor with how he blasted J. Leon Love out of there, and also with how he busted James DeGale's ass. It's crazy, man. This is the worst decision of this year by far, and honestly, I doubt I'll see another decision worse than this one, because the way I saw it, James DeGale got fucked up. Medina fucked DeGale up, and I'm a guy that's been favoring Badou Jack over DeGale for a good while now, probably for at least a year now. And honestly, I don't even as good as I think Jack is as a boxer, I can't even picture him beating DeGale up as badly as Medina did. Medina fucked him up, and that a lot of that has to do with style. Medina's a guy that throws, shit. He threw like 1,000 punches in this fight. That's a work rate that's damn near unheard of at super middleweight. Badou Jack is a bit more of a patient. He doesn't have as high of a work rate. He's a bit more conservative with his punch output, and he's more of an accuracy over volume type guy. So that's understandable, but regardless, things change, and shit just goes down, man, and it's just a fucking travesty, and especially considering what happened in the main event, where it was almost the exact same situation. These judges ain't scoring body shots, man. Badou Jack punished Lucien Boutte to the body. Lucien Boutte was pulling the exact same bullshit that James DeGale was pulling with Medina. He was throwing a bunch of arm punches at Badou Jack's gloves. Not even really landing them cleanly. Landing, grazing shots that, went through the gloves and, grazed the guy's face. But overall, most of the impact was lost in the fucking gloves. So those ain't clean shots. And yet the judges scored that fight a draw. They scored Badou Jack versus Lucien Boutte a draw, but you couldn't even give Rogelio Medina a draw against James DeGale. Medina beat DeGale just as clearly as Badou Jack beat Boutte. Badou Jack busted Boutte's ass. Porky Medina busted James DeGale's ass. Just fucking horrendous decisions. Horrendous fucking decisions tonight. And it really sucks because, the PBC card earlier with all the knockouts and everything. It just goes to show that, nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed in life or in this sport or whatever. Sometimes you got the three blind mice judging these contests. Sometimes you got these fucking amateur judges. And the amateurs, they don't score body work either. That's why you have a lot of the greatest body punchers of all times as pros who basically sucked as amateurs because they never got any of their body work scored. And then, people are wondering like, whoa, this guy wasn't a very good amateur. How is he such a great pro? Well, because the amateur scoring system is fucking whack. And now these fucking amateur-ass judges are infiltrating the pro system now. So now you can't even get proper scoring for pro body shots. In spite of the fact that, body shots are probably some of the most harmful punches that there are. There's plenty of guys with granite chins. There's very, very few. I could probably count on one hand the amount of fighters that I've seen that have granite abs. you know. But granite chins, I mean, they're a hell of a lot more common. So when you're putting in work to a guy's body, hitting him clean to the body, those are clean, effective punches. And what's the most important part of boxing rules in the under the associated rules of the boxing commissions is clean, effective punching. Ring generalship, effective aggression, defense, all that shit takes a backseat to clean, effective punching. First and foremost. Rogelio Medina had the clean, effective punching. Badou Jack had the clean, effective punching. They both got robbed of victories here today, and it's a fucking travesty. It's a fucking travesty to see, somebody like Medina, in particular, and the reason why I put the emphasis on him is because Badou Jack is already a world champion. He's already in the money. He's already going to get fat paid for unification against James DeGale. But Rogelio Medina is a fucking guy that's been grinding. A guy that's been grinding his whole career. A guy that's barely even started to make just some pocket change, man. And he gets done like this. That's fucking garbage, man. This is fucking trash. Man, it really sucks to have to make a fucking rant like this. And honestly, I'm going pretty easy. I could get a hell of a lot more hype than this. I'm just trying to be more analytical about the whole situation. I mean, it's really just two awful decisions, man. And it really puts a really bad taint on what would have been an excellent unification fight between Badou Jack and James DeGale. Maybe they can do Lucien Bute versus Rogelio Medina on the undercard. Winner gets the winner. I'd like to see that, and I really hope they do something like that. Something like that, or maybe Medina versus one of the Durrell brothers. Then winner gets the winner. Medina definitely deserves another shot more than Bude does. Bude made his fight with DeGale close, but Medina fucked DeGale up. And Bude, he really got sunk by Badou Jack, and Badou Jack's team, Floyd Mayweather, all of them, didn't look too happy with with Lucien Bute even calling the fight close. He made it competitive, in some of those rounds. He gave a scrappy effort, but Badou Jack clearly won that fight. Rogelio Medina clearly fucked James DeGale up and won that fight. And that's all there is to it. When Badou Jack and James DeGale fight, Badou Jack, I favor Badou Jack, by far. Badou Jack is just a cleaner boxer. James DeGale's stamina is beyond suspect. It's guilty. James DeGale's stamina is guilty. Gassed out against Durrell, gassed out against Bute. He caught a second wind, of course, and he majorly gassed out here against Medina. Majorly. Badou Jack, as much as he was going to the body against Bute, all you gotta do is just target that body of James DeGale, just like Medina did. He'll be in the fucking money, and he'll actually, hopefully get the decision. At least he has, a connection to some of the power base, but you never know. They pretty much screwed him over too. Because apparently these judges ain't counting motherfucking body shots. But two awful decisions, man. Two awful decisions. The real winners tonight are fucking Badou Jack and Rogelio Medina. That's all there is to it. I hope Medina gets another good shot after this. This is a guy who's been plugging away for a minute now, and he deserves better. He deserves better than to get fucked over like this. And otherwise, shit. Oh man, I can't even say props to anyone, man, because I'm like this. That's how fucked up this shit is. Man, I'm done.